वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Today we will discuss a shloka from the 13th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, and this is a very important shloka that describes different aspects of knowledge, different qualities of knowledge. So when somebody has good knowledge, so what are the symptoms of such a person? So Krishna describes in several shlokas. We will take the first shloka in the series. So that is the 8th shloka. You can see the screen. Okay. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthiryam atmavinigraha. You can recite this. Krishiva. Amanitvam adambhitvam Okay, Hari Priya. Ahimsa kshantirarjavam.
Ahimsa kshantirarjavam. Ahimsa kshantirarjavam. Ahimsa kshantirarjavam. Ahimsa kshantirarjavam.
Okay. Thank you, Smita Mataji. Acharyopasanam shaucham.
Acharyopasanam saucham. Dhairyam atmavinigraha.
Okay, fine.
Acharyopasanam saucham. Acharyopasanam saucham. Acharyopasanam saucham.
Okay.
Dhairyam atmavinigraha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay. Karthik and Kamakshi, recite the full shloka. Amanitvam adambhitvam. Together.
Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthiryam atma vinigraha.
Very
Thank
good.
you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Chinmayi.
Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthiryam atma vinigraha. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Sri Ram.
Yes, Prabhuji. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthiryam atma vinigraha.
Riyansh.
Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam saucham sthiryam atma vinigraha.
Very good.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
And Dharana Mahesh Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa shantir arjavam acharyopashanam saucham sthiryam atma vinigraha.
Okay, thank you. And one last citation. Rajeshwari Mataji.
Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsam shantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham dhairyam atma vinigraham.
Hasini, you want to recite?
Yes, Prabhuji. Can you tell afterwards? I can read.
Okay. Amanitvam adambhitvam
Amanitvam adambhitvam
ahimsa kshantirarjavam
ahimsa shantirarjavam
acharyopasanam shaucham
acharyopasanam shaucham
sthiryam atmavinigraha.
dhairyam atma vinigraha.
Very good. Thank you. So we will discuss the meaning of this shloka now. Here Krishna is saying there are different aspects of knowledge. Of all of them, Krishna describes 9 of them here. Amanitvam means humility. Okay. Adambhitvam means pridelessness. Both have some overlap, but anyways. So Krishna says Amanitvam adambhitvam means a person who has knowledge should have all these qualities: humility and pridelessness. Third, ahimsa, non-violence. Fourth, kshanti means tolerance. Fifth, arjavam, simplicity. Sixth, Acharya Upasanam means to worship Guru, to respect Guru. And Shaucham, cleanliness. Sthiryam means steadiness within the mind. Atma Vinigraha means self-control, means to control one's senses and mind. So these are the 9 qualities of a person who is in knowledge in this shloka, and the later shlokas describe more qualities. Total 20 qualities Krishna describes. So today we will just discuss the meanings of these 9 qualities, what it means to be humble, what it means to be prideless, what it means to be non-violent, etc. But I will focus mainly on humility. So we will discuss humility, first quality, more elaborately, and we will just have the meanings of the remaining 8 qualities. Fine? You're okay with this plan for today? Because to discuss all the qualities in detail will take a lot of time. Ours is a short class. So let's see the meanings now. 1. Amanitvam means not to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. So that is humility. So a person who is humble doesn't hanker for respect from others. He doesn't think that everyone should worship me, everyone should respect me, praise me. So that kind of satisfaction one doesn't hanker for. So that is called humility. And we will discuss more about humility at the end of the session. Second quality is adambhitvam. Dambha means pride. Adambha means not to be proud. So, like one who knows that he is not the body but he is the soul, understands that whatever is happening on the bodily platform is only temporary. So he doesn't have so much pride in one's material accomplishments. He understands that everything that is happening to the body is temporary. So he doesn't feel proud about it, right? He's not so anxious to be famous. He is not very arrogant. So that is pridelessness, adambhitvam. There is more to it. Then third quality is non-violence, ahimsa. Himsa is violence, ahimsa means non-violence. So what is non-violence? Generally, we think that non-violence means we should not harm anyone, we should not destroy someone's body. But actually, violence not only means to harm someone else's body, violence is also to cause disturbance to someone's mind. We have 2 kinds of bodies, right? One is gross body, second is subtle body. So somebody may not be violent on the gross bodily plane. Somebody may not harm others, somebody may not cut someone's hands or kill people, but someone speaks harsh words, very insensitive words to demean someone's enthusiasm, to disrespect someone, to reduce someone's enthusiasm. That is also violence. So non-violence means to not harm someone's body and to also not discourage someone or speak harsh words to someone or put others into distress, right? The distress could be bodily distress or mental distress, but we should not cause any distress to anyone. That is non-violence. Clear? Then fourth quality is tolerance, kshanti. So tolerance means one should practice to bear insult and dishonor from others. So not in a self-demeaning way or not having self-respect. It's not like that. So tolerance here means in this material world, there are some disturbances, there are some inconveniences that we receive from others. So we should have the ability to tolerate and not to react to everything in an inappropriate manner or in a aggressive manner, right? We should have some tolerance. We already discussed about tolerance in our second chapter classes, where we discussed matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkhadaha agama apayino anitya tam stitikshasva bharata. Just like heat and cold come and go, similarly happiness and distress also come and go. So we should not become so overwhelmed by it. We should be able to tolerate it. Fine? That is tolerance. Then fifth quality is simplicity, arjavam. So we should not have any diplomacy or we should not be very cunning in our behavior. We should have straightforward dealings. You see, to go from A to B, someone is going in different ways. So someone asks, where is your nose? You can show like this. but you can show like this also, right? So we should be a little straightforward. We should not be cunning or diplomatic or duplicitous. That is arjavam, simplicity. So simplicity not only in attire, not only simplicity in dressing style, simplicity in eating style, simplicity at heart also. Right? We should not be complicated in our heart. We should have some simple dealings and simple feelings. So next, sixth quality is acharya upasanam, approaching a bona fide guru, an authentic guru. So we should approach and take guidance from a guru in our spiritual life. So that is sixth quality. Seventh quality is cleanliness. So cleanliness not only refers to cleaning our rooms and homes, it is also cleaning our hearts. So room becomes dirty because of dust and some kind of grasses or some chocolate wrappers. So many things will make that room dirty. So we should keep the room clean. We should keep the house clean. But it's not just cleaning the external homes or our bodies by taking bath, a couple of times in a day. It is also cleaning our heart, internal cleanliness. So clean the heart from lust, envy, pride, greed, etc. So no, we should not have any envy towards others. That's the dirtiest thing that we can have in our hearts. Eighth. Eighth is steadiness, sthairium. So we should be very steady and determined to make progress in spiritual life. Although so many obstacles may come, we should not give up our steadiness. Okay, we can make tangible progress by having determination and steadiness. So ninth quality is self-control, atma vinigraha. So self-control means to not accept anything which is unfavorable for our spiritual progress. So now let us see self-control on the plane of body, on the plane of senses. Say doctor told you not to eat something. That is not good for your health. So you should have self-control, atma vinigraha. You should control your tongue. We should not eat something which spoils our health, right? Similarly, we should also not think of something or do something that dampens our spiritual life, right? That is unfavorable for our spiritual life. So now what I spoke till now is just the definitions of these 9 qualities of knowledge. Someone who has knowledge has these 9 qualities, and we just gave the definitions. Now let's go back to the first quality, which is humility, and elaborately discuss on this quality. And remaining 8 qualities, I think we have already discussed last month when we had a concluding session of our Gita Ratnamala series in December. All these 20 elements of knowledge we have elaborately discussed for 1.5 hours. But I'll focus more on humility today, which I have not discussed that time. So humility is the first quality, which Krishna describes. Just a minute. I think I'll have to go to those slides. Just give me a minute. So now in this Shloka, Krishna describes humility as the first quality of knowledge. Okay. So when we have humility, then we can approach a teacher and acquire knowledge from the teacher. Thus, humility leads to knowledge. So, where do we get knowledge from? From our teachers. So, they give us knowledge. Children go to school and then they learn so many things from their teachers. So, for that, they require humility. Only if they are humble, if they humbly submit to teacher, submissive to the teacher, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. If they have humility, and with that humility, if they approach a guru, then guru will give knowledge, teacher will give knowledge. So humility is required to attain knowledge, and not only material knowledge, spiritual knowledge also, right? Especially spiritual knowledge requires a lot of humility. And once you get knowledge, will you give up humility? Do you use humility as a means to attain knowledge only? No. Once you attain knowledge, you will become more humble, right? Your humility will increase. So the more you have humility, the more you will acquire knowledge. The more you have knowledge, the more humble you will become. Isn't it? So humility leads to knowledge, knowledge leads to humility. So what exactly is that knowledge? So knowledge has so many branches, but in spiritual circles, the greatest knowledge that we can have is knowledge about our own selves and about Supreme Lord Krishna. So knowledge includes knowledge about our own selves and knowledge about Krishna. Who is Krishna? Krishna is the Supreme God. And who are we? We are servants of Krishna. Right? So this is the essence of knowledge. And once you have this knowledge, you work on that relationship with Krishna. I am a servant of Krishna, I should serve Krishna. and that is Abhideya. So, Sambandha Jnana, we get knowledge about Krishna and about ourselves and our relationship between ourselves and Krishna. So, that is Sambandha Jnana. Once you have that Sambandha Jnana, means knowledge about your relationship with the Lord, next step is to revive that relationship. You have to serve Krishna, that is Abhideya. And ultimate purpose is to love Krishna, that is Prayojana. We will discuss Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana in a different forum. But here, when you have humility, you will acquire knowledge about the Lord. You will acquire knowledge about Krishna and about yourself. And once you have that knowledge, that should increase your humility. See, people acquire knowledge and become very proud of their knowledge. See, I know Bhagavad-gita, I know Bhagavatam, or I know social science, I have a lot of computer knowledge, I have a lot of knowledge about internet, I have knowledge about so many gadgets, I have knowledge about politics. So knowledge could induce pride in us. Material knowledge will increase pride, and even spiritual knowledge also sometimes increases pride in a person if he is not very careful. So we should cultivate knowledge with humility, and we should also not allow our knowledge to make us arrogant. Our knowledge, real spiritual knowledge will make us humble. So we are servants, we are not masters. Servants are meant to be humble. We are not bosses. The more we get spiritual knowledge, the more we realize our subordinate position in front of Krishna, that should make us humble, not proud, isn't it? So knowledge should increase humility. So knowledge of God is not meant for show off, but to surrender to God. Once you know more and more and more about Krishna, it's not that you announce to the whole world that I know more about Krishna. Right? If needed, you have to preach and then you have to share knowledge of Krishna. But knowledge about Krishna is not meant to show off. It's meant to share, but it's not meant to show off. But it is ultimately meant to surrender. You surrender by knowing about Krishna, and you share that knowledge about Krishna to others and help them surrender to Krishna. Ultimately, knowledge should lead to surrender, humble surrender in front of Krishna. Knowledge is not meant to make us arrogant or proud. Okay, that's the important relationship between knowledge and humility. So knowledge is meant to increase our humility, not to induce arrogance in us. The more we know about Krishna, the more we know about our subordinate position in front of Krishna, the more humble we'll become. We don't become very arrogant. So further, people of small knowledge think that they are great. But people who have great knowledge accept that they are small. Okay, Krishna is infinite, we are infinitesimal. Krishna is Vibhu and I am Anu. Krishna is like a big ocean, I am like a drop of ocean. Krishna is like a big fire, I am just a spark of fire. You see, the more you have knowledge, the more you understand how insignificant you are in relationship with Krishna. That should increase your humility, that should not increase arrogance. Fine. So people who have small knowledge, they think that they are great. But people who have great spiritual knowledge, they accept that they are small. I am infinitesimal compared to the infinite Lord. Right? So knowledge should make us humble. And many times people think humility to be self-pity or weakness of heart, inferiority complex, lack of self-respect, or humility is a feeling of being incapable of doing something. And humility could be humiliation or frustration. No, these are not the definitions of humility. Oftentimes the term humility is misunderstood in this way. So let us be very clear, humility is not self-pity, not weakness of heart, not inferiority complex, not lack of self-respect, not feeling incapable, not frustration. Right? Humility is to understand our real position in relation to Krishna. Humility is to understand our real position as servants of Krishna. So that humility saves us from self-absorption and facilitates our absorption in Krishna. Once you understand more and more that you are a servant of Krishna, you try to absorb your mind in Krishna, not to yourself. So knowledge is not meant to make us self-obsessed. Knowledge is meant to make us Krishna conscious. So let us be absorbed in Krishna by developing knowledge about Krishna. Humble. Let us not think I am so great. So humility is that which facilitates our Krishna consciousness and comes out of our self-obsession. It helps us come out of our self-obsession. And humility is not a lack of self-esteem or lack of self-respect. The real self-respect is in humility. When we humbly submit ourselves in front of Krishna, when we humbly recognize ourselves as servants of Krishna, that is real humility and that is real self-respect. What is respect? You respect the person for what he is or what she is. Somebody is not something and you glorify that person as that. Then that is disrespect, not respect, right? So you value something or respect someone for what he is and what she is. So we are servants of Krishna, and when we acknowledge our subordinate position in front of Krishna and accept ourselves as servants of Krishna, that is real self-respect, that is real self-esteem, right? When we recognize ourselves in connection with Krishna, that is real self-respect. But if we recognize ourselves disconnected from Krishna, have nothing to do with Krishna, right? Separate from Krishna, that is not self-respect. That is like disrespect to the self. We are in connection with Krishna. We are servants of Krishna, right? We have an eternal relationship with Krishna. So when you are related to a very big celebrity, your respect will increase, right? But when you are disconnected from your celebrity, your respect will decrease, isn't it? Who can be a better celebrity than Krishna? We are all having an eternal relationship with Krishna. That's the real respect for the soul. You respect every soul as someone who is connected to Krishna, a servant of Krishna, one who has eternal relationship with Krishna. That's the real respect that we can give to everybody. Someone who is in knowledge is humble oneself, and he also recognizes everyone in connection with Krishna, and that's the real self-respect, the real respect that he gives to others. So one who has real knowledge about Krishna and all the living beings and their connection can truly respect others. People may respect us for our education, for our affiliation to great institutes, for our ashrama, for our varna, for our wealth, for our beauty. There may be hundreds of reasons for which people may respect us. But the real respect that we receive from others is when they recognize us as servants of Krishna, devotees of Krishna. And the real respect that we can give to others is to recognize them as servants of Krishna, are parts and parcels of Krishna, souls that have eternal relationship with Krishna. So respect people for the right reason. Okay. So see people on the right spiritual plane. So that's the real respect, right? So humility gives real self-respect, right? So humble people focus on what they can serve, how they can serve Krishna, not on what they deserve. Some people say that, okay, if God is really there, why is he not giving this to me? Why he is not giving that to me? They kind of demand things. And even in their relationships or interactions with other people also, they kind of demand, okay, I deserve this. There is a sense of entitlement. I deserve this. A humble person doesn't think that I deserve this. A humble person focuses on how to serve, not on what he deserves. Okay, so that is real humility. And when we really rejoice in being a servant of Krishna, who is the greatest person, and instead of trying to establish ourselves as greatest, our ego becomes purified. So humility is the protective armor that saves us from the attacks of false ego. Okay, so oftentimes we become victims of our own false ego. What is false ego? What is ego? To identify oneself as something is false ego. I'm a teacher, I'm a student, I'm an employee, I'm a businessman, I'm a wealthy person, I'm a beautiful person, I'm a knowledgeable person. So you kind of identify yourself with some temporary designation, and all your thoughts and actions and intelligence is surrounded in that identity, false ego. Mind becomes a servant of false ego, intelligence becomes a servant of false ego, and your body becomes a servant of false ego. So that false ego will make a fool out of the conditioned soul. So humility, cultivating humility by surrendering to Krishna will actually protect us from that false ego. So humility is like that armor. Somebody in the war is throwing arrows at you. Okay, So if you have an armor, the arrows will not harm. If there is no armor, then that will pierce the chest. So humility is that armor that protects us from the attacks of false ego, from the arrows of false ego. Our own false ego attacks us in various ways. So when we start identifying ourselves as servants of Krishna, our ego becomes purified and spiritualized. Then that is true ego. So humility is false ego rejected or smashed, right? So now real humility empowers us, doesn't disempower us. So now you see this story, I think most of you know. Once Duryodhan and Arjuna both went to Krishna to seek help from Krishna in the Kurukshetra war. So both are cousins of Krishna, both have a relationship with Krishna, family relationship. So when first Duryodhan went, and Duryodhan saw Krishna sleeping. Then Duryodhan went and sat on a chair next to the head of Krishna. Okay. And Arjuna came after Duryodhan. He saw Krishna sleeping. So Arjuna bowed down to the lotus feet of Krishna and sat near his lotus feet. And Krishna got up from his sleep. And he saw Arjuna in front of him first. Because Duryodhan is at the head. Okay. And when you get up, you see the person who is at the feet. So Krishna saw Arjuna first. So you know what happened later. Krishna said that I will myself come and assist you in your war, but I will not pick up a weapon. I will just be there to advise you and then be around you. Okay. That is one option. Second option is I have some lakhs and thousands of Narayani Sena that I can give. What do you want? You decide. And because I have seen Arjuna first, Arjuna should have the first opportunity to choose. Then Arjuna chose Krishna. Humbly, he chose Krishna. Duryodhan being arrogant, he did not sit at the feet of Krishna. He sat at the head of Krishna, thinking that, how can I sit at Krishna's feet? So because of his false ego and false pride, he did not take a humble position. So because of that, although he has been given this Narayani Sena, lakhs of powerful soldiers, he did not win in the war of Kurukshetra, isn't it? So Arjuna humbly chose Krishna, he won in the war of Kurukshetra. So when you are humble in front of Krishna and his devotees and in front of all elders, that empowers us. When you are arrogant and proud in front of others, especially in front of Krishna and Guru, that disempowers us. So humility is not a weakness of heart. It is the real empowerment. It is the real way of receiving empowerment. And one more last point is that all of us have to chant, isn't it? So we all know that chanting is the Yuga Dharma. That chanting requires humility. We can effectively chant the holy names of Krishna only when we are humble at heart. That's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniyaha sadaharihi. Trinadapi sunichena, one who is humbler than a blade of grass can effectively chant the holy names of Krishna. Isn't it? So humility is required to chant. So why? Because when you're chanting Krishna, 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 Krishna always, you're accepting your position inferior to Krishna. Not with inferiority complex, but with devotion. Okay, you are accepting your subordinate position to Krishna, and you are accepting Krishna in a superior position. That requires humility. The very fact that we are chanting means we are acknowledging Krishna's superiority over us. That requires humility, isn't it? So humility is a very, very important quality to be able to chant, effectively chant. Kirtaniya sadaharihi doesn't happen without humility. Okay, so now humility, one who understand their real position, naturally exhibit humility in their dealings. Okay, one who doesn't have that understanding of their real self, they are arrogant, they think that we are great, like that. So humility is the real path to divinity. So this is what our scriptures teach us repeatedly. So let us try to cultivate this quality of humility. Okay, and one last thing is that we should not expect humility from others. We should exhibit humility, but let us not expect humility. Oh, he's not humble. He's not humble. You don't keep on pointing out. Okay, actually, those who are not humble can help us to become humble. But anyways, we should cultivate all these qualities by our own endeavors. ourselves. But if we don't see those qualities in others, we should not disrespect them or demean them. We can pray for them. It's not meant that, okay, all these qualities are meant to be developed by others, and I am like a self-appointed evaluator who will evaluate whether this person is humble or not. Let's not understand or develop knowledge about all these qualities to evaluate or judge others. Let us try to develop our qualities on our own, with our prayers and efforts. So these are a few thoughts about humility, and I humbly seek your blessings that I become humble. Someone asked a sannyasi, how can I remain humble? And the sannyasi's reply is, first you become humble, then you can remain humble. So we all should become humble to remain humble. So if you remain humble, then we get all blessings of Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, you can recite again. Yes, Karthik and Kamakshi, you both together recite.
Yes, Prabhuji. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyam atma vinigraha.
Amazing, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hari Hari. Divya Krishna, do you want to recite?
Yes, Prabhuji. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa shantirarjavam acharyam upasaucham
Acharyopasanam shaucham.
acharya upasaucham stairyam atma vinigraha.
Thank you. Chinmayi.
Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyam atma vinigraha. Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you. Thank you. Next, Kalpesh Patil Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Amanitvam adambhitvam
Amanitvam adambhitvam
ahimsa kshantirarjavam
ahimsa kshantirarjavam
acharyopasanam shaucham
acharyopasanam saucham
stairyam atma vinigraha.
stairam atvam vinigraha.
Riyansh.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Recite.
Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa shantirarjavam acharyopasanam saucham stairyam atma vinigraha.
Thank you.
Hare
Neelam
Krishna,
Mataji.
Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat. Neelam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
You can recite.
Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa shantir arjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyam atma vinigraha. Hare Krishna.
Brajagaur
Prabhuji,
Prabhu.
one thing I had requested. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
I had requested that could you please share the PPTs of these in the group of
Okay.
the slokas.
Okay, Mataji.
Thank you.
Brajagaur Prabhu.
Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam saucham stairyam atma vinigraha.
Next, Smita Mataji.
Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa shantir ajavam acharyopasanam saucham stairyam atma vinigraha.
Aishwarya Mataji.
Amanitvam
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
amanitvam adambhitvam.
Who is reciting? You can recite loudly. Yes, Aishwarya Mataji, you can recite.
Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantir arjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyam atma vinigraha. Thank you, Dandavat.
Thank you. Hasini.
Yes, Prabhuji. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa shantirarjavam acharyopasanam saucham stairyam atma vinigraha. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Inha Sehal Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat pranam. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa shantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyam atma vinigraha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Gayatri Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa shantirarjavam आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रहः. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Soumya Mataji.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभुजी दंडवत प्रणाम. अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रहः. थैंक यू प्रभुजी.
Smita Mataji.
अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रहः. हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम.
Kasturi Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु. अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रहः.
Next.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Yes, Mataji.
अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा शान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रहः.
Next.
हरे कृष्ण
Murti.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. अमानित्वमदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः. हरे कृष्ण.
Okay. Thank you. Venkatadri Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु धन्यवाद प्रणाम. अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं
स्थैर्यम्
आत्मविनिग्रहः. हरे कृष्ण.
Last. Vijay Shri Mataji.
अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासना शौचं शान्तिरात्मा विनिग्रहः. थैंक यू प्रभु जी. हरे कृष्ण.
Next, Rasheshwari Mataji. Last. Okay, we'll conclude.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. हरे कृष्ण. अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा शान्तिम् आर्जवम् आचार्य उपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रहः.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next Monday we will meet with another shloka. Hare Krishna.